I'm not exactly sure how this happened. Back in the United States after 2.5 years abroad, currently in a state that does not have mountains. A wild ride. If you're new to the channel, I'm back in the US after 2.5 years, about 26 months of that in New Zealand, made almost 150 videos over in New Zealand. Feel free to check out some New Zealand videos if you've subscribed. Because of New Zealand videos, thank you. Hoping to share some amazing US adventures with my New Zealand audience that I've gained. If you're still wondering whether I'll be back in California or when I'll be back, we'll be coming out for a short period of time later this summer. So a few videos coming from California, but just, I don't know, man. It's been a wild ride. We started off, we left LA in July 2019, took a massive road trip up the West Coast, up to Vancouver, across Canada, stopped in Banff, over to the Northeast, and then down to Florida. And then in October 2019, we took off to Switzerland, met up with the 42 Adventures crew there in Switzerland. Mick and Pete and Warren and those crazy guys did some crazy stuff. A few clips of that stuff has gone viral on TikTok now. So if you've seen the Via Ferrata video, clip of that went viral on TikTok. 10 million views on TikTok. I don't really understand TikTok, so apparently small little clips of stuff like that goes viral. If you're joining me from TikTok, welcome. This is where I do my best work, I think, in the long form content here on YouTube. And then, of course, we went to Nepal, did the 3-week Kanchenjunga trek in the Himalayas, did some walking tiger safaris and saw some tigers and rhinos. Got to meet up with one of my original YouTube inspirations, Gabriel Morris, Gabriel Traveler, here on YouTube. Had lunch with him. He did a segment with me in one of his videos, so that was amazing. Went to Thailand, met up with my buddy Jason Rupp, who I had made friends with online years earlier, and actually got to meet him in real life. The only thing was he forced me to get shaved by 3 female Thai barbers for a video on his channel, which now has over 4 million views or something like that. So I'm only bringing these few things up because I've never really addressed them on my channel. I've never really talked about them on my channel. And I was just recently thinking about a lot of things. Being in the United States again, a lot of things have jumped out that I wasn't really aware of or hadn't really thought of. Let's see how bad we can get burned on the dome today. I was just thinking about the YouTube ride so far. It's been a wild ride meeting these other creators. And apparently when I was gone, some other guy that I had done a video with live streamed himself taking a dump in Nancy Pelosi's driveway. So this is an interesting, YouTube is an interesting world. You meet a wide range of interesting people, and you get to collaborate and make all these amazing videos of amazing locations, and then apparently you do a video with a guy and then he does this a couple years later. So that was also an interesting learning experience for me. So we went grocery shopping the other day, and it was a slightly surreal experience because I had seen movie scenes like this. There was a movie several years ago that won the Oscar, I think, for Best Picture, and it was called The Hurt Locker. And it was about a veteran who comes back to the States after being like a bomb disposal guy in Iraq. And I remember there's a shot of him standing in the aisle of the supermarket, and it just seems like it goes on forever. It was like the cereal aisle or something, and it's just all these cereal choices, and he just felt overwhelmed by the amount of choices. And it's funny because when we went to the grocery shopping the other day, it was a small grocery store, but the amount of choices for different products are a lot more. There's a lot more products available here, just different types of stuff than in New Zealand. I just had been accustomed to kind of the limited range of products that they had. It's kind of a weird thing to explain. It's not like I was overwhelmed by the variety. More of it kind of stood out to me. That was one of the first things I noticed. It's like, oh yeah, there's 20 different types of butter, and that reminded me of like an old Borat sketch.
And this, what is this?
Cheese also.
And what is this one?
That's cheese.
This one over here, what is it?
Cheese.
And this?
That's cheese.
But having come from New Zealand, I don't know how to describe it. It's just not as consumer based, although that's changing now. There's just less range of products, you know, instead of having like, I don't know how to describe it, like 10 different cough syrups or 20 different, you know, varieties of Robitussin or something. There's maybe like 2 or 3. It's just less variety of products, and that's probably for a lot of reasons. They have laws that, you know, a certain percentage of products have to be made in New Zealand. The cost of shipping goods to New Zealand is prohibitive, so maybe they don't bring in a lot of different stuff. But anyway, my point is that it was a glaring difference. It was like, oh, I'm back in the US. This is different. In addition to that, whole new range of vegan stuff available. Especially given the state that I'm in, I would not expect a ton of vegan products at the supermarket. Pleasantly surprised to see that. And just like some cultural demographic shifting. Minute Maid putting out a aguas frescas drink, mass adoption by Minute Maid in this shifting demographic in the US. Very interesting. Just thought I'd share that sort of interesting observation that I had. Another thing that jumped out at me right away was everyone in the store, and this is not, I'm not trying to be judgmental or pass judgment or say anything's good or bad, just an observation. Everyone in the store, employees and customers, nobody was, I don't want to say nobody was happy, but nobody was smiling. Everyone had a frown on their face. Everyone seemed unhappy. I mean, it just, that's the way it seemed. Like thinking back to New Zealand, it just seems like in general, in society, when you're shopping in the store or wherever, people seem lighter, lighthearted, more smiley, more friendly, you know, and that's exemplified by the fact that we'd meet people like at a campground or something, just have like a 10-minute conversation with them, and they'd say, oh, if you're ever in my neighborhood, if you're ever in New Plymouth or wherever they happen to be from, give us a call, you know, you can come stay in our driveway or you can come stay at our house. And it was a much friendlier, sort of welcoming environment on the whole, and pretty much in general. And that just kind of jumped out at me at the supermarket. Like everyone just kind of seems like there's like a weight, or to just seem unhappy or not as lighthearted. And New Zealand, Kiwis are known for their senses of humor. They have quirky senses of humor, and even on the news in New Zealand, it's much less serious. You know, you'll see the anchors kind of making these funny, like kind of deadpan, backhanded jokes at each other, but they're not mean-spirited. They're more just playing around. It's a less serious environment. You saw this during the first lockdown in New Zealand, not so much the second, but the first one, there was much more of a sense of community and we're in this together and let's do this for each other. And then I think by the second lockdown, just, you know, people had had enough of it, and Auckland was in a much longer lockdown than the rest of the country. So that shifted a little bit. But I think also a lot of people were being influenced by external forces, kind of external media and stuff like that. But just right off the bat, it was clear we're not in Kansas anymore. And by Kansas, I mean New Zealand. And it's amazing how in the 26 months we were there, it wasn't like something like I was noticing every day. It was just something I kind of became used to, I guess, right? Like, oh, a huge difference, a huge shift for me was driving. 26 months of driving on the left side of the road. And the first time I drove to the supermarket, that was very anxiety producing, very stressful. I just have to keep reminding myself, you have to be on the right side of the road, right side of the road, right side of the road. And the best way to do that is remember the driver's side is towards the middle of the road. The same in New Zealand, except you drive on the left, driver's side's on the right. But man, my brain, I'm totally conditioned. The muscle memory is conditioned for driving on the left side of the road. So if you're in a British Commonwealth country, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know if you ever had to come to the United States or something. I'm curious how long it's going to take me to readjust to that. So that was the first major change. I hope, you know, I just got to drive real slow, take it real slow and easy. And I can't really be listening to the radio too hard or paying attention to too much else other than just focusing on driving on the correct side of the road, which is a major complaint that New Zealanders have about tourists in their country, is they get into accidents a lot because they're driving their camper vans on the incorrect side of the road. So of course, New Zealand reopened for tourism now to, I think, 60 visa waiver countries. So if you're able to, go ahead and check out that beautiful country. Just wanted to give you a little insight on what I'm dealing with now. The goal had always been to keep it going, keep the party going, and travel. And it's a different world that we live in now. I think that's still probably the goal. I don't really know what the future holds, to be honest with you guys. I'm happy to be kind of in a stable location for the next several months, and looking forward to getting back in my fitness routine. There's a few things I just wanted to address in terms of like communication with you if you're watching this video. There's a big shift in YouTube right now, and it seems like you could say one thing wrong and they'll delete your channel. And I just want to let you guys know, if that ever happens, all of my videos are backed up automatically to a blockchain video site called Odyssey. And I'll leave that link down in the description. If for some reason my YouTube channel just isn't there one day, Odyssey will have all of my videos, they back up automatic. So if for some reason this channel gets deleted, new videos will be going direct to Odyssey. And then, you know, who knows what else the future holds. I have been working with several brands to bring discounts and sales and deals to you guys. So I have not started this email newsletter yet, but I am getting people on my email list. And that is the best way for me to communicate with you guys if I get deleted from YouTube, or if I'm shifting platforms, or it looks like I'm going to be starting a blog with much more detailed write-ups and guides to the places we've been, with more information than I've provided in my videos. So if you sign up for the email newsletter, which also the link is in the description, I give you a free 5-page ebook. Download the Adventures Essentials ebook, and then that, if you put your email in to get that puts you on the email list. And that is the best way for me to communicate with you guys when I work out these deals. I'm working out deals with like REI, Black Diamond, all these big outdoor companies, and I can bring you guys savings on outdoor products and stuff like that, and then just let you know the highlights on what's going on, what's coming up. I'm not really sure what that sort of thing will be, maybe once a month, maybe every couple weeks. Haven't worked out the details, but again, in case if everything got deleted, my Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, Facebook, if all that stuff got deleted, if I can still contact my audience with email, I can let you know where I've moved to, what the new platform is, or where my videos are now. So that's just a small housekeeping thing. You know, some people are much more savvy when it comes to this social media thing than I am. I would not necessarily use the word savvy to describe my social media prowess. But yeah, if you get on the email list, I can give you updates in case, God forbid, something happens and my YouTube channel gets deleted. I don't foresee that happening, but some of these channels, I don't think they foresaw it happening either. And all of a sudden, boom, all the work they put in is gone. So yeah, get on the email list. You can subscribe on Odyssey as well, the blockchain video platform. I think they have an app now too. But just some updates and some thoughts being back in the States. I'm excited to see friends and family that I haven't seen in almost 3 years. I'm excited to do a lot of things in this state that I've never done, including interacting with some wildlife. Some pretty interesting wildlife in this state. Which state is it? Which state do you think I'm in? If you had to guess, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what type of videos you guys want to see. You want to see more gear reviews, stuff like that? It looks like my video, The Best Water Shoe for Adventures, is very popular. Unfortunately, that shoe I don't think you can get anymore, so I'll have to make a new video on what the next best option for that is, and just some other gear that I've been using lately. I don't know, mainly I want to thank you guys who have stuck around through the whole time we were in New Zealand. Apparently, while I was there, I didn't know this, but apparently vlogging has died. The death of vlogging, so maybe that explains the low views on my channel, I don't know. But apparently vlogging is not as popular as it once was, so I guess that's why I have to do gear reviews. I don't know. What do you want to see? Do you want to see gear reviews, or do you want to see me climb this palm tree and pick coconuts down from the top? Let me know in the comments. Plenty more coming from this undisclosed location. I will disclose it at some point. In the meantime, get out there, find your adventure, and be infamous.
Infamous.